Hi, welcome to my channel. The first thing I'm going to have you do is please press like, subscribe, and turn on your notification so you know when I upload new videos. So this one, I probably should have put on like my dope black mom shirt for this one, right? Because this one is about adopting while black, or my Black Lives Matter. No? Whatever. So this video is going to be titled Adopting While Black. So I think from the beginning, when we started this process, the thing that we heard from every professional that we dealt with was, you guys are going to go fast. You guys are going to go fast. You guys are going to go fast. I'm not here to toot our horns, but we're a good looking couple. Toot toot. But listen, if nobody else is going to clap for you, you have to clap for yourself. Listen. Clap it. Everyone said you're going to go fast, and we didn't quite get what that meant. Hindsight, I get what that means. You're a good looking black couple. There's a lot of things going on in the black community, but let me tell you something. If you are black or interracial couple looking at this, adopting in the private sector while being black will work in your favor. And I say this because I have met so many people during this journey, and our stories are so similar. Our wait time was like this compared to the wait time of our Caucasian brothers and sisters that are waiting, you know? And I say this because there are so many African-American babies placed for adoption, but so little African-American families that are in the private sector adopting. Don't get me wrong. You will have people, and I see this all the time in these adoption groups. And I even had a girl come at me in one of these groups and say, oh, black people adopt all the time. Not in the private legal way. And when I say legal way, I mean with attorneys and agencies and home studies and all of that. I don't mean you having me being pregnant and having a baby and then letting my grandmother or my aunt raise the baby. That's not what I mean. So I don't mean that type of adoption. And so I think that the lines get a little bit blurred in the African community when you say there aren't a lot of adoptions in the African American community, because they're not. Let's be honest. They're just not when you compare it to white or Asian. They're just not. So people are shocked when they hear our story. They're just shocked when they hear our story because they cannot believe that we went the adoption route. You know, people were just like, oh my gosh, you guys are adopting. It was just like an anomaly because it was almost like it was taboo. Like, wow, you guys are adopting? Wow, why? Wow. So we got that, you know? Then they were baffled at the fact that I had fertility issues. It was like, what? Did you try this? And it was just like, you know, when you have family and friends and, you know, 2 weeks into trying, they're pregnant, and it's just like, oh my God, fertility issues. And it's just like, not everybody can just get pregnant naturally, you know? And after a while, you have to kind of know your limit. And I think we kind of knew our limit. And, you know, let's go the adoption route. The crazy thing was when we signed our adoption contract and we decided, Marley, where are you going? We have a puppy in here this time rather than a baby. When we decided to go the adoption route and we signed with our agency and we did our preference meeting, we didn't have a preference with the baby. Like as far as race, gender, nothing. We were willing to get anything. You know what I mean? And again, if they would have placed us with a blonde hair, blue-eyed little boy, I would have loved that little boy like he was the best thing since bread from Paris. And if you've ever had a baguette from Paris, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Marley, you can't go out. Do you need to potty? You can't go anywhere. And so we just wanted to be parents. And we weren't necessarily looking at color at that time. You know, we have this beautiful black baby that we love and we cherish her. But at that time, that's not what we were looking at, you know? So, yes, people were baffled at the fact that we adopted and that we have fertility issues. So, that's the black culture. So, being black for us definitely worked when you looked at it in the private sector. I had looked for adoption stories for black couples that had adopted, for success rates, adoption agencies. I did find one adoption agency. It just didn't. Then I felt like, okay, so I did find an adoption agency that was solely based for black couples. And then I decided not to go with them. And I decided not to go with them because I looked at it as to what's going to make Kenny and I stand out from Jasmine and Jeffrey. What is it that's going to make us stand out from them? And I needed something to make us stand out from the next couple. You know, it was just, if we're just in a pot full of other black couples, what makes us different? So I knew for a fact that's not where we wanted to go. That just was not going to be for us. So I definitely did do our research, but when I knew when I was doing our research, I couldn't find a blog on it, on an African-American couple looking to adopt. I found 1 million blogs on interracial adoption, like Caucasian couples adopting black children. There are 1 million of them out there that just did not fall into us at all. There were 0 YouTube videos out there, hence why I'm here. So there was just 0 outlets for me. What I did find, which kind of put the boot to our butt, was my nail tech, who was also a young African-American female. Her husband, prior military, young African-American man. They were in the middle of their adoption contract and they got matched, I think, within like 6 months of their contract. And this was the first couple I had known personally that adopted. And it was enough to put the fire under my butt. And spoke with Kenny. And at that time, that's when we finally decided to contact Angel and go through the adoption process. So first American couple that we knew that adopted went within 6 months. All right. So that was that. So it let me know that it worked and it could work, but I didn't see the trend at that time. So, after we signed with Angel Adoption Inc., which of course, again, like I said before in prior videos, they're not paying me to mention their name. We just had a phenomenal experience. So I figure, you know, why not go ahead and say their name in it, because they did right by us. I will go ahead and say their name because it was a good experience. So no, this is not a paid sponsorship. But after we signed with Angel, there might have been one other African-American couple on their website. Might have been. I can't even remember at this point. I can't even remember because Kenny and I never made it to the website. But that just goes to show you, and even to this day, there are never any heterosexual African-American couples waiting on their website, but there are a ton of African-American babies placed with them. So the odds were just in our favor. The odds were just in our favor. You know, when we started this journey, we again had no idea how it would go per se, but now looking at it in hindsight, how could we not realize? I guess I didn't do that part of the research, but if I was a birth mom, if I, Khandy, was a birth mom and I knew that I was having an African-American child, I would probably, and this is not to be biased and in any fashion, because I feel like, you know, two good, genuine, or one good, because I'm, you know, a single parent household could raise a child just as well as two. But I feel like I would want my child, I would probably look for a family that looked like my child first. Nothing against anyone else, but I would probably look for a family that looked like my child first, especially in today's climate. Again, nothing against anyone else. That's just my personal preference. Don't say anything bad about me. So if you are a birth mom and you're thinking just like the way I just said, as to you're going to first look for an African-American family, if there are only two to choose from, the odds are going to be in our favor, right? Because if you think, if you go on a website and there are 150 Caucasian couples, where do I start? You know, I guess you start narrowing it down as to, okay, we're going to take out the people from the West Coast and then take out the people from northern sides, and we're just going to leave Midwest and Southern states. I guess that's how you would do it. And then start narrowing it down from religion and then preferences with pets, because I don't know how you would do it because there's so many to pick from. As to African American, if you have 2 to 6 couples, it worked in our favor. I mean, I swear, people, hello. So, you know, since being an adoptive parent, I have met specifically 2 other adoptive moms. One, she's from New York, and the other one, she's from Texas. And both of them, their weights were really short. Both of them, their weights were extremely short. One, her baby is also from Texas, and the other one, her daughter's from Detroit. But both of them, their weights were short. I don't think any of us going into it knew how short the weight would be. But again, if I knew what I knew now about adoption, I probably wouldn't have done everything to my body that I did, trying to get my body prepared to be pregnant and all of that. Because, I mean, first, it didn't work. Second, it just threw me for a loop. To me, it was just like a waste of time. It was stressful on our marriage. But I probably wouldn't have peed because it would have happened faster, you know? So again, going back to everything happens at its time. So what I will say to you is be patient. If you are a young African American, I mean, not young. Let's not say that, because I'm no young spring chicken. I mean, I know they'll look old, but I'm knocking on 40's door. Knocking on it. But if you are an African American and you are considering adoption by any means, and I mean if you are a single woman, if you are LGBTQ, if you are just a heterosexual African American couple, let me tell you, the wait won't be long, because there are so many of our children that are being placed for adoption, and there are just not a lot of us out there that are adopting. That could be because of the shame in the African community there is shame that comes with it. There is, because it almost like they make you feel like you're less than because you can't procreate by yourself. or the cost that comes with it. So, you know, I did a previous video on how you can fund your adoption. So if you want to watch that, go ahead. I don't have a video on how to make you create because I have not created, you know, biologically by myself. But I would highly suggest, if you are considering adoption, to go ahead and do it, because it was the biggest blessing in our lives. So again, if you are African American and you are considering adoption through the private sector, go ahead and do it, because they need good African American people out here to parent our babies. I'm just saying, okay? But nothing against interracial adoption. Thank you to all you parents that are doing a phenomenal job at raising these little black babies. Nothing against that, but kudos to all us African Americans that are getting the job done. All right. So if you have any questions that you'd like answered, if you have any stories, any experiences that you'd like to let me know about, please put them in the comments and I will, of course, get back to you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.